This week we're driving the new Infiniti QX60. This is the all-new redesign of the QX60, so there's a lot to cover. Let's get into it. And to super fans of the channel, which there probably aren't a lot, you might recognize this vehicle. I've actually driven the exact same vehicle a year ago, so I got it pretty early. Driving it again now. That video, I took a very family man approach to the review. This one is going to be a little bit more of a general approach to the review. So if you watch that one, you still might get something out of this one. If you are watching this one and you didn't get what you wanted, you might go check out that one. Either way, we're here. Let's jump into the trims offered, and then we'll start looking at this new exterior design. All right, so the trims include the Pure, the Luxe, the Sensory, and Autograph. Pure obviously being the base trim and Autograph being the top of the line trim. Each trim is available in all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. What we have here is the Autograph all-wheel drive, so it's basically the top of the line. And again, this is the all-new redesigned Infiniti QX60 based off the all-new redesigned Nissan Pathfinder. It is a way more bold and larger looking SUV. You've got a lot more bold lines. It looks more boxy than the previous generation. We do have the Infiniti signature LED headlights with the adaptive lighting system. Even on this Autograph, we do not have fog lights. But you can see that this champagne looking exterior paint color matched up with the chrome bits around the grille and down on the front fascia, as well as along the side, over the cabin, and around the back. All ties in with the Infiniti design. We still have huge bulges on the hood, very signature Infiniti, and looks really good while sitting inside looking down the hood. Of course, we've got the floating Infiniti logo in that black grille. Looks very premium and very nice. Our wheels are unique to the Autograph. They are the 20-inch machine aluminum alloy wheels with a charcoal metallic finish, a very two-tone look to those wheels, and they are running 255 50 R20 all-season tires. We do have the Infiniti intelligent key with remote start and keyless entry, so you can just walk up to the car, grab the handle to unlock it, swipe your fingers across the top to lock it when you get out. Those side mirrors have the black and body color design to them, and you can fold them, but they're not folding on lock. We do have black roof rails that blend in really well. If you don't have crossbars on them, you would barely notice that they're there. Putting crossbars on this thing though does still make it look really good because this is more of a bolder, more rugged vehicle. I think it still looks good with those crossbars. In the rear, we have the LED taillights that look really good here. You have the QX60 badge, you have the all-wheel drive badge, and obviously that Infiniti logo. This vehicle actually says Infiniti in many places along the chrome trimming, which is really cool. So taking a look at the full dimensions of this vehicle, your wheelbase is 114.2 inches. The total length is 198.2 inches. Your total width is 86 inches, and your total height is 69.7 inches. And we do have a 6.7 inch ground clearance, which isn't a ton, but can do some very light off-roading with this all-wheel drive system. All right, and with that, let's pop open this hatch and take a look at the cargo volume offered in the QX60. Now, immediately you might see behind that third row seating, there's not a ton of cargo volume. If you're taking this on a road trip or need to pack it with a lot of stuff, you're gonna have to fold those seats down to increase the cargo volume. So if you've got a big family and you're carrying a lot of stuff, it's gonna be more difficult. So behind that third row, you're looking at 14.5 cubic feet of total cargo volume. To compare that to something like the Hyundai Palisade, the Kia Telluride, or Volkswagen Atlas, those are all around 18, 19, 20 cubic feet of cargo volume. So you're definitely sacrificing in cargo space if that's something that you need. If it's not, probably not a huge deal. Plenty of room for grocery shopping and things like that. You do have power folding seats here. And with that third row folded, you have 41.6 cubic feet of cargo volume. That's a more respectable number, obviously. So if you're just hauling 4 people in here and you don't need that third row, you can definitely fold some down. Or if you just need a little extra room, it is a split seat, so you can fold one down or the other. And we do have the captain's chairs in the middle row, so if you had the bench, you could obviously carry 5 people with the third row folded down. But you can also fold those captain's chairs down and get a total of 75.4 cubic feet of cargo volume. So if it's just you driving or you and a passenger, you can fold everything down and get a lot more room. And with that, let's go ahead and close it up and we'll take a look at the engine under the hood, and then we'll jump inside and start looking at the interior. All right, and under the hood, no matter what trim you get the 3.5 liter direct injection V6. It's not turbocharged. You don't have the variable compression turbo that you do in some of the other Infiniti engines. This is just a naturally aspirated engine, which means it produces 295 horsepower, 270 foot-pounds of torque. And of course, we'll talk more about it as we go for a drive, but the saving grace for this setup is the 9-speed automatic transmission. The fact that they took the CVT out of this makes it drive so much better with less power. So that's definitely a positive. Let's go ahead and jump inside. Let's take a look at the rear seats first, then we'll move into the front, and then we'll take it for a drive, and we'll wrap up the review talking about price and competition and some of my final thoughts. Let's get into it. All right, guys, first thing to notice back here is it is the 2 captain's chairs like we talked about already. To get into the back seat is actually pretty easy. There is a button down here on the captain's chair that you push. It folds forward pretty far, which makes it really easy to get into these rear seats. Now, something that I already talked about is that these rear seats are pretty tight, even for smaller children. The middle seats can be scooted up a bit, which give you a little bit more room, but I'm gonna not climb back there and prove it to you. You do get your own USB charging back here, as well as some cup holders, but all in all, that third row is definitely for children, not really adults. Although if you had to in a pinch, you probably could. Middle seats, on the other hand, plenty of room. Very comfortable. Let's go ahead and jump in. As you can see here, you have your own climate control back here, as well as heated seats. You also get a USB Type A and USB Type C charging port, as well as a 120 volt plug, which is great. We've got our little center console with cup holders and an extra cubby back here, and then really nice plush seat, about the same that you get in the front, so that's nice. And with that, that's pretty much the back seats. Again, lots of great comfort, great room in the middle row. You can scoot them up and give a little bit more room to the rear seats, but I would stick with smaller kids back there. Let's go ahead and jump into the front seats, take a look at the rest of the tech in here, the rest of the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. All right, guys, and here in the front seats, obviously super nice seats. This is the Autograph, so go figure. Let's go ahead and give you a good tour around. All right, guys, and first off, we do have the saddle brown quilted semi-aniline leather appointed interior with black open pore ash wood trimming. Super nice interior. I can't say enough about how good it looks, especially at this price point. So Infiniti has definitely done a great job here with the interior trimming. We do have the big 12.3 inch touchscreen display up front. For me, this is a great addition to the Infiniti lineup. I like it better than the dual display that the previous generation and some still have in the Infiniti lineup. My only slight gripes here are the infotainment system does look a bit cheap for being an Infiniti. It looks basically just like you get in the Nissans, which it's a newer system, so I'll give them some time to try to update it and give the Infiniti a unique look. But it definitely does look cheaper than you would expect maybe for an Infiniti. Also on this side, you can't really control what is on this side of the screen because it does split the screen, even if you have Apple CarPlay plugged in. So you'll have your Apple CarPlay on this side and Apple CarPlay on this side. So I definitely think they have a lot of room to grow with the UX of the infotainment system. But I like the one screen, and you can still use the interactive dial here to select different menus and to go through different things. So if you're not able to touch the screen for whatever reason, or you just get used to using this instead of touching the screen as a driver, that's really good. So you get a lot of the best of both worlds, basically. We do have the Bose Performance 17 speaker audio system. Like I said, we have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integrations here. We do have wireless phone charging. So you got a little pad back here. You can just slide the phone on in and it will start wirelessly charging back here. Back there you also have USB Type A and USB Type C charging ports. You can see here in the middle is all your controls, all kind of touch passive controls, AC and heat functions, heated and cooled seats. The seats are also massaging seats, which is fantastic. Obviously push button start here. We have our electronic gear shifter, which you can put into reverse by pushing forward, and that does give you the full 360 camera and reverse camera. You can also just push the camera button and cycle through some of those, or if it's in park, you can still hit that camera button and activate the camera, which is good. Besides the shifter, you have your drive modes. Drive modes consist of personal, sport, auto, and eco. Beside that is the off button for your auto start stop, which is nice that they give you a button for it. I have found that the auto start stop in this is not intrusive at all. Kicking the engine back on or killing the engine doesn't really affect the driver at all, which is really good. We have our electronic parking brake, auto hold button, and again, all your infotainment buttons here, cup holders, and a pretty nice armrest with nice cubby. Steering wheel is a nice steering wheel, nice leather wrap steering wheel with white stitching. Got some chrome on here that is fine. Nice buttons on here for activating different functions. You've got paddle shifters in the back, which I basically never use. Behind the steering wheel is another 12.3-inch display for your driver information. It can be scrolled through with buttons on the steering wheel. And of course, you can get a lot of different information here about the vehicle. So whatever you're needing to see as you drive it is all readily available. We also have a 10.8-inch head-up display, which will display your speed, the speed limit, and some other information, all really well visible even in daytime. We also have the rear view mirror camera display where you can toggle it from being just a mirror or the rear view camera. Again, I've reviewed a lot of vehicles have this these days. It's a feature that at first I thought was very gimmicky, but the more and more I use it, the more and more I like it, and I basically drive with it on all the time now. And last but not least is the panoramic sunroof. So we do have the full panoramic sunroof. Nice, large, goes all the way to the second row seating. So third row is kind of left out, but it's pretty nice. It is tinted, so you're not getting hit with that harsh sunlight, especially here in Texas, which is nice, but I still prefer just to have it closed. All right, guys, and with that, let's mount up the cameras and we'll take this thing for a drive. All right, guys, let's get this thing out on the road. First thing to say, it's a smooth drive. Again, that engine, not super powerful, but at least with that 9-speed automatic transmission, it feels a lot better to drive. And of course, I'm kind of coming into this review after driving a Mercedes GLE 450, which has a ton of power, so I do miss that power when driving this thing. But all in all, no real complaints with the power. It is what it is, and you probably shouldn't expect too much. But handling wise, it's super easy, super comfortable, drives basically just like it should for its class and what it is. Obviously, if you're buying this thinking it's any kind of sporty vehicle, you're misinformed. And although it doesn't give you the power to really push it, what it can do is pull. It can haul at 6,000 pounds, which is a pretty good amount. That's plenty for taking around a small boat, jet ski, or trailer. And you do have a trailer sway control, so that always helps keep everything good. Fuel economy, you're looking at 21 miles per gallon city, 26 highway. For the front wheel drive, you lose a mile per gallon for the all wheel drive, so 25. We've been averaging just around 17, which is decent. We do a lot more kind of city driving or country driving. We haven't got out and gotten this on the highway too much. We didn't do a road trip in it or anything like that, so I think that's a pretty decent average. You of course do have that all-wheel drive to lean on, and this being based on the Pathfinder is kind of a semi-off-roady vehicle. This thing can get off-road and do a little bit of work. You do have some features like a hill start assist. It'll do a little bit, but not a lot. Decent if you're talking about a little bit of camping or something like that. We do have that 360 camera, but we also have parking sensors, so getting this thing in a parking spot is no issue. Pulling it into a garage or driveway, no issue. You do also have Infiniti and Nissan's Pro Pilot Assist, which is probably one of the better options in the game if you're looking at kind of assisted driving. Keeps you in the lanes well, keeps you a distance between the car in front of you, and for the most part you can kind of be hands off. You obviously need to keep your hands on the wheel and pay attention to what's going on just in case. It's not a fully autonomous system, obviously, but sitting up there with Hyundai and some other manufacturers, I think that this has one of the better systems out there. So I can say that I really liked the previous QX60. I praised it a lot, recommended it a lot, and I like this one even more. I like the design more, and I don't know how to give it a better praise than that. Let me find a place to pull back over. We'll talk about the price of it, some of the competition that's out there these days, and then we'll wrap it up with some of my final thoughts. Let's keep it going. All right, guys, and before we jump out and I give you some of my final thoughts and we start wrapping this up, let's quickly talk about the price and competition for this vehicle. Let's start off with the price, talking about the base price of the base trim. The pure trim is just over $46,000. I would be interested to jump in one of those and see what you're actually missing out on. Obviously, you're not getting massaging seats, not quite as nice interior leather-wise, but I'd be interested to see if, at least for buying it for a family, maybe that base trim would be better. If you do option up to the Autograph all-wheel drive, your base price is just over $63,000, and this thing is basically what you would order it as if you're getting the Autograph all-wheel drive, and it's just at $64,000. So basically all you're getting is the destination charge, and I think the paint color is like a $600 option on this. So how does that price stack up to the competition? You can look at the Acura MDX, which is a 3-row luxury Acura that has a 3.0 liter turbocharged V6 under the hood, 355 horsepower, so you're getting more power out of that one. Price range from 55 to 65K, so right around the same. You can look at the Buick Enclave, which is their 3-row semi-premium luxurious vehicle that has a 310 horsepower, 3.6 liter V6 and is priced around $48K, so maybe a little bit cheaper. The Lexus RX now has a 3-row, although I wouldn't really recommend it as a 3-row vehicle because it's even tighter than this thing. But you get a 295 horsepower V6 out of that, and that price starts around $49K, so you can get it maybe a little bit cheaper, but probably around the same price. Then the Genesis GV80, I have driven and really like. It does come in a 3-row. I haven't driven the 3-row, so I can't recommend that yet, but that has a 300 horsepower V6 and has a starting price around $50K, so again, kind of right in the same spec. If you are looking for a good 3-row semi-luxurious vehicle for a family, I'd also recommend the Hyundai Palisade and Kia Telluride. Obviously not necessarily in the same class, but especially that Palisade, I think really could compete with this, and it just came out with a redesign, which I'm dying to drive whenever it's available, so we'll get to that. But with that, let's go ahead and jump back out. I'll give you some of my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up the video there. All right, guys, so let me give you some of my final thoughts with the QX60. The all-new QX60 definitely looks great. It looks the part. Luxurious looking on the outside, the inside. The tech in it's nice. I do like that it doesn't have the dual display anymore, although that infotainment system definitely needs some love to make it more luxurious and stand apart from the Nissan system. Again, when I reviewed it, focused on family. I did like it as a family vehicle. I've often said that the QX60 is a great price point for families looking to get into something a little bit more luxurious, but still being able to haul the family without going too big and too expensive. I still think that fits really well in this vehicle. The back seats are a bit tight, but if you're not going on a long road trip or something, you can definitely make it work. Using this just as an everyday vehicle, though, again, is great. I wish it had a bit more power, but at the end of the day, it'll get you to where you need to go. It does it in comfort and luxury. It looks great, although I would get a different color for the exterior if I was buying one. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. Definitely go take a test drive in it, see how you like it. Get your family in it if you're buying it as a family vehicle. But you might also check out some of the maybe not direct competitors to this, but some really great vehicles at great values that I mentioned earlier. With all that said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video, especially to this point. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up for me. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the QX60. Also, go check out txgarage.com, where we've got a lot of written reviews as well as event and news coverage from a lot of great authors over there. And with that, guys, thanks for watching.